Hey there, welcome to another tutorial for pastorblogs.com. In this tutorial, we're going to be going over how to manage your blog post, how to write your blog post, how to make sure that you have the proper content so it looks right on the front end for your readers. When you log in, you should see this dashboard, and over here on the left, there's a menu item for blog post. We're going to click on that, and we're going to go ahead and go to all posts. Now, all posts will pull up a list of all the blogs that you currently have on your site. If this is your first time logging in, it may look like there's a lot going on here, more than I have. And so I handle that by clicking the screen options button in the top right. And this pulls up a list of basically what's in these columns down here. You'll see there's no author down here, but if I click author, it shows the author of that blog post. I usually hide author because I'm usually the only author on my blog, so I don't need to see it, along with some of these other things. You can set it up how you like, but just know that that option is available for you. Click apply. What we're going to do when that loads is we're going to click add new, and we're going to walk through creating a brand new blog post. Your first time logging into the editor here, there will be some tooltips that pop up here that you can go through. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them, and I would recommend following through. Don't just skip them all, but take a minute, go through them so you get a better feel for the interface here. It's going to help later on. And what I want to do is go through this column right here that you see scrolling. Then we'll go through this other column right here, and then we'll see what it looks like on the front end, okay? First here is we have our title, and since my last post was Church Leadership 101, I'm just going to call this one Church Leadership 201 rather. And you can immediately start typing if you're just focusing on written articles, and I'm just going to paste in some dummy text that I have right here. But now, if I go to the end and I hit enter, just starts a new paragraph, starts a new block right here. Maybe I want to add another block that is a heading. So you just click this little plus sign, and there are a number of little elements right here that you can add whatever you need to. And I recommend just going through them. The best way I've found to learn what these are is just play around with them and just write a few test posts to figure out what fits you and what you need to make this work. I'm going to go ahead and add another heading right here. And I'm just going to say this is church leadership stuff. And I'm going to leave that as the H2 tag so that Google knows that it's important. And I'm just going to duplicate this block and move it down. You can see that you can drag and drop this content right here. Another thing about these blocks for your content is that it will show up over here on the right. And so let's go to this one. And there's just some block settings right here, and there's settings for every one of these blocks that you can tweak a little bit. For this first one, I'm going to say drop cap. And for the second one down here, I am going to say the font size is medium. And I'm going to give it a blue text. I'm just picking at random, guys. Blue text on a gray background, just so you can see that these are some of the things that you can do. And they even warn you, like if you pick a color combination that's hard, they'll let you know, hey, people are going to have a difficult time reading this. Next, what I want to do is scroll down. So we have our post stuff in place, and I want to scroll down to post layouts. There are a few main types of blogs that you may be writing. You may be writing a written article. You may be using video in your post. You may be using a podcast code. I know a few of you that signed up for the beta program, you're using podcasts in your posts. And so you can make a blog an episode and share that episode through your post and add show notes and links and all that jazz. And then some of you, maybe you just are sharing an audio file, and so this lets you do that. You have to make sure to select your content type, otherwise it might look funky on the front end. So we're going to say that this one is, we're going to go through these actually. So article, just written, audio, you drop in your audio link here. I really recommend using a service like Google Drive or Amazon S3 to host your audio files. And you can just drop this in here and it'll populate on the front. If you need help setting up Drive or Amazon S3, let me know. Podcast code, whatever code that your podcast provider gives you to drop in here for that episode, just drop it right here. It'll show on the front. And then video, of course, you can add a Vimeo or YouTube link here. Most people are using YouTube, so I built it for YouTube. But if you are a Vimeo type guy or gal, just let me know, and I will tweak your site so that you can use Vimeo right there. And we're gonna make this a a video one. So let me go over this YouTube video. Something important here is that when you're dropping the link in, you can't use this little short deal they have right here where it says share. You have to use the full link up at the top for it to use it correctly. And so I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Down below that, we have the post SEO settings. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and that's definitely important. And we're going to have a full course on that later. But also for this, you want to share something that is shareable. You want to write something that is shareable. So your title can just usually stay your title, but maybe I want to call this church leader stuff. And then below that is your meta description. It's basically a little longer than a tweet that describes your post. And if you don't use this, it's just going to pull from the first few words of your post. I always recommend writing a description so that when it gets shared on Facebook or Twitter or what have you, it looks clean and it looks right. So take the synopsis of your message or your post and throw it right here. Actually, let me grab some of this. This is probably going to say too long. I generally try and stay around 160 characters. So let's delete that. That's 140. Perfect tweet. That's good. Another thing with this is I like to make sure that what gets shared on social media is what I want to get shared on social media. And so I can go through here. This will pull the titles and the descriptions and stuff. As you can see, it will pull from what you have in this general tab. It says church leader stuff, just like the title I made. But what I would suggest also is making sure that you upload a social image picture. So I want to select an image so that when someone shares this link on Facebook, this is the picture that gets shared, not just whatever picture, Facebook decides to pull from my blog. I want to specify, hey, Facebook, use this image. Down here below this, we have Monarch settings, and that's essentially the social sharing tool that we use for posts. You shouldn't have to worry about anything there for the most part. Now let's scroll back up here. You can see that we're still on block. Make sure to click on document so that we can see the settings for this entire document. The status and visibility. So public just means that it's going to be visible to anybody that has the link. We want to publish it immediately. One of the key concerns a lot of you guys have is staying consistent with blogging. And so what I found helpful is writing like 4 or 5 blogs at a time. Go ahead and put them on the site, and then I can choose my publish date. So if I have a block where I can write, I'll pump out some blogs and I will just set them to go out like a week at a time. And that takes care of some of the time concerns that some of us have with finding the space for it. Post format, you shouldn't have to worry about this. This will probably be gone by the time you guys are in the beta, hopefully. Right here, the preview is the permalink. The preview permalink, this just lets you preview the blog that you've set up. Categories, I have a number of categories kind of already built into the site. You're free to change these. I recommend these are like top level like trains of thought for your blog. I recommend not having more than 7, and you can change any number of these. And then tags is where you can drill down on something specific. So say that you're talking about Billy Graham. You don't want to make a category for Billy Graham. You'll make a category for leadership, and then you want to type in Billy Graham down here, right? Content types, we've already addressed content types down here where we did the post layout stuff. This will probably be gone by the time you get in. And then our featured image. Our featured image is what shows up on the background when you go to a blog and the title is on top of it. I'll show you what I mean in a second. We're going to select that same image that we did for the social media image. We're going to select that. And then the rest of this down here, you usually shouldn't have to worry about. And again, there's some things here that by the time you guys get in the beta that might already be hidden. I really want to streamline this so you only see what you might need. And what we're going to do is hit publish. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the front of the site. Well, I almost didn't say that. It took me to the dashboard. And then down here now, you'll see that I have Church Leadership 201 ready to read. I just published it. It's on the site. And you can see the featured image here in the background. That's the same across any kind of post type that you have, any kind of blog post type that you have. My video shows up right here. And I can scroll down here. And you can see that the way I wrote it in the editor is what shows up right here. And that's the gist of making a blog post, managing your blog post. Let me know if you guys have any questions or feedback. And thank you again for being a part of this beta group.